My name is Alfred and I'm 36 years old. I'm a craftsman from a small town who found himself fighting a battle I never wanted to fight. This is the story of how my family tried to rip my legacy from my hands and how I fought to keep it. I've always been the guy everyone in my family leaned on but never saw. The fixer, the one who showed up when the world fell apart. I was the shadow behind my sister, Laya, and my mother, Vivian, always there. Always steady, always silent. But when my father, Roland, passed 3 years ago, followed by my mother's death a year later, they left me their legacy. A sprawling workshop filled with custom furniture designs, a small savings account, and a patent worth nearly $1.5 million. I wasn't shocked. I'd spent years learning Roland's craft, sanding wood until my hands bled and sketching designs by his side while Laya partied and Vivian made excuses for her. They trusted me to carry it forward. The workshop was more than a building. It was a cathedral of cedar and oak, its walls humming with the echo of Roland's hammer. It sat on a plot in a gentrifying part of town where developers circled like vultures, offering millions to turn it into condos. But Roland never sold, and neither would I. The moment the lawyer read the will, naming me the sole heir, I saw the glint in Laya's eyes, sharp and calculating. Vivian just laughed, a brittle sound that promised trouble. I knew then I had to be ready. I didn't take over the workshop right away. I stayed in my small loft downtown, working quietly to secure everything. I had the property appraised for $2 million, including the patent for Roland's modular furniture system. I hired a lawyer, Marcus, whose calm voice and mind worked like a chess grandmaster's. He set up an ironclad trust with me as the trustee, locking in the workshop, the savings, and the patent. I stashed the original blueprints in a safe and registered the workshop's utilities under a shell company I created. I paid every fee and crossed every T because I knew my family. Laya, with a charm that could sell ice in a blizzard, had a history of borrowing money she never repaid. Vivian wielded guilt like a weapon, always reminding me I owed her for raising me. For a year it was quiet. Too quiet. Laya called once asking if she could use the workshop for a photo shoot. I said no. Vivian sent texts, her words dripping with suggestion. "That workshop's too much for one person, Alfred." "It's a family legacy." I ignored them, kept my plans hidden, and waited. Then one crisp October afternoon, I was polishing a cherrywood table when Vivian's SUV pulled into the gravel lot. Laya strutted out, her designer boots crunching the stones, a smirk playing on her lips. Vivian followed, holding a folder, her face all business. "Alfred," she said, her voice smooth as poison, "we need to set things right." Laya didn't bother with niceties. "We talked to a lawyer. Roland's will was outdated. The workshop should be split. We've handled it." She flashed a document, her eyes daring me to argue. "The title's in my name now. You've got a week to clear out your tools." I stood there, sawdust on my jeans, the air thick with the scent of varnish, and didn't blink. "You think I'd let you take this from me?" I said, my voice low like the rumble of a storm. Laya rolled her eyes. "It's done, Alfred. Move on." Vivian stepped closer, her tone softer, manipulative. "We're not trying to hurt you. Laya can sell the place. Make it fair for everyone. You don't need all this." I let the silence stretch, then gave a slow nod. "Understood," I said, and turned back to my work. They thought I was folding. They thought I was the same Alfred who'd lent Laya $10,000 for her business venture only to see it vanish. They thought I'd bend under Vivian's guilt. They were dead wrong. 3 days later, they returned with a moving van. Laya was in the passenger seat, scrolling her phone while Vivian directed 2 movers toward the workshop's double doors. They were laughing like they'd already erased me, but I was waiting. I stood in the doorway, arms folded, next to a woman in a tailored blazer. Ms. Harper from the county property office. She held a binder with the trust's name in bold letters, her badge catching the sunlight, sharp and official. Laya stopped short, her phone slipping in her hand. "What's this?" she snapped. Ms. Harper's voice was calm but unyielding. "I'm here on behalf of the trustee of the Roland Craft Trust. This property and its assets, the deed and patent, have been in a trust since last June. Managed by Alfred Voss, your claim title. Transfer is fraudulent and carries legal consequences." Vivian's face tightened. "There's been a mistake. We saw Roland's old deed." "No," I said, stepping forward, my voice cutting through the crisp air. "You found an outdated document and paid some hack to forge a new one. You thought I wouldn't protect what's mine." Ms. Harper opened her binder. "You brought a fake title and a moving crew to steal my father's legacy. Silence that followed was heavier than the tools in my hands. But the fight wasn't over. A week later, a letter arrived from Vivian's lawyer, claiming emotional distress and demanding $250,000, co-ownership of the workshop, and a cut of the patent's profits. My hands trembled as I read it, not with fear, but with a fury that burned like molten steel. My own mother tried to extort me for guarding what Roland built. I didn't reply. I sent the letter to Marcus, who dug deeper and found Laya's forged signatures on the fake title, complete with a counterfeit notary stamp from a shady online service. The DA's office was already investigating the operation. Laya's new gig at a trendy design firm was a slap in the face. I sent them an anonymous report, organized, factual, with every piece of evidence. By the end of the week, her name was scrubbed from their site, her design license under review. Then came the real blow. My cousin Ethan texted me late one night. Vivian's been calling the family saying you coerced Roland into changing the will, that you took advantage of him. She'd launched a smear campaign, painting me as the villain to anyone who'd listen. My stomach churned, not just from betrayal, but from the violation of it all. This wasn't about the workshop or the money. It was about breaking me, so I struck back. I compiled every document, the forged title, the lawyer's letter, Ethan's screenshots of Vivian's lies, and sent them to every relative she had contacted. I added one note: this is the truth. Decide for yourself. The response was seismic. Cousins, aunts, even my uncle, who had always doted on Laya, called me. Some apologized, others were enraged on my behalf. Vivian's lies collapsed like a house of cards. Now I stand in this workshop, Roland's hammer in my hand, crafting the future he believed in. I won't let anyone take that from me. Have you ever fought to protect something that defined you?